Welcome back. Part 3, Episode 4, April 7th, 2021. I was so thankful for waking up this morning. It is an easy morning and afternoon. At 3:15 p.m., Madison took the file to the post office to mail to beep, beep. I'm hoping and praying it arrives safely. 7:11 p.m., I received a message on Facebook asking to be accepted on the Facebook Cemetery cover-up post. 7:13 p.m., I called Jen. I asked her. I told her, there's someone trying to be accepted on the cemetery post. How do you do that? After I found it, I asked, oh, do you just push accept? Jen said, yes. I was going to look to see who it was, but yes, accept it. I did. I got a tear in my eye, and I asked God for him to be the one to help. 9:53 p.m., I looked to see if the man was on the cemetery post, and he is. Thank God. Now I hope he is the one. April 8, 2021. I was so busy today, I had an appointment, and things went really well. I also went by the seed store in that town. We got fertilizer and weed killer to put in the yard. We went back to my friend's house so I could visit Dixie the horse. She is such a funny girl and so sassy. I did feed her an apple with a sugar cube and some oats, and I don't think she's mad at me anymore. That horse really does have a personality and an attitude. When I left, beep, I drove home, and when I was able to check my messages and emails, I found another request to join the Facebook Cemetery cover-up. 6:22 p.m. I messaged Jen. I wrote, hi baby, there is another guy that requested to be accepted on the cemetery post because I have been sending letters to anyone and everyone. Did you check them out? Jen wrote, yes, I accepted him and I have been looking at their profiles, trying to see what I can find. I wrote, all right, good, thank you, and let me know what you find. Jen wrote, I am still searching, but beep, beep is possibly an attorney if I am looking at the right person, and his wife is in the medical field. I wrote, oh wow, all right. I wrote, yeah, that would be great if he is. Where are they from? Jen wrote, beep. I wrote, no way. Oh wow, all right. Did you see the profile of the other man that requested it today? Jen wrote, it could be people with loved ones that are in the cemetery also. I wrote, oh yeah, really. I didn't think of that, but yeah, it could be. Prayers needed. Jen wrote, yes, prayers. I wrote, what's the second guy's name? Jen wrote, beep, beep. I wrote, all right. I couldn't find him where he requested, and I couldn't remember his name either. And thank you, baby. 8:24 p.m. Lisa messaged. She wrote, call me if you're not busy. I wrote, give me a few minutes and I will. 8:29 p.m. I called Lisa. We talked about what she had been doing, and I told her about the other guy that wanted to join the Facebook page. She asked, did you check them out? I said yes. Jen did. Lisa said, because you gotta watch people nowadays. Someone could hack the page and I would be pissed. I would be pissed if someone did that. I said yes, that's all we would need. I would be so disappointed in people. I mean, why do people have to be so evil and mean? Lisa said, oh, I know, but there are some that are mean. I said, God, I hope it's nothing like that. I hope it's for the good of it and it's someone that's willing to want to help us. She said, I hope so too, Em. We talked about other things and it was getting late and we had been on the phone for hours, so we let each other go. April 9th, 2021. 1 week that the file should have been received. And I pray for something. Someone to help. April 10th, 2021. I woke up this morning, as I do every morning, thanking God. I'm having a good day. Madison and I was talking about her next days off work, and she told me, I don't have to be to work until Wednesday morning. I thought to myself, we need to go do something. My friend came by this afternoon and took us to lunch, and while we were talking, he gave me another name of an actor to send a file to. Beep, beep. I said, oh, that's a good one. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. April 11th, 2021. Thank God for letting me breathe. April 12th, 2021. 3:52 p.m. Patty called. We talked for about 10 minutes. She asked me a few questions about the pictures. She said, I know I don't know the area, but I can see what you were saying, and when you get time, we need to talk about each picture, and you tell me the story. I said, all right, we can do that. She asked me, are you going to be available tomorrow to go over the information? I told her it could be Wednesday. She said, all right, Wednesday then. And by then, call the newspaper to ask if you have to be a subscriber to put an ad in that paper. I said, all right, I will do that. She said, all right, so Wednesday we will talk about the pictures and you tell me what the paper said. I said, all right. We talked a little longer and hung up. April 13th, 2021. Happy birthday, my pops. I love and miss you every day. Rest in peace. As I pray, I would get tears in my eyes. Praying someone, anyone will help. I hope someone will get back to me, and I pray, beep, beep, gets her file, and she is the one to help. Today, beep, beep, should have received her file, and if not today, tomorrow for sure. My fingers are crossed. April 14, 2021. This morning when I woke up, Madison left for work. I cleaned up a bit and called the beep, beep newspaper. 10:35 a.m. I messaged Patty. I wrote, I am trying to get in touch with the newspaper now. 12:03 p.m. I called beep, beep newspaper. I talked with a man named Beep. He sounds like a really nice man and was really helpful. It was about a 5-minute call. 12:09 p.m. I called Patty to let her know what Beep had said. She asked, so you don't have to be a subscriber? I said, no. She said, all right, that's a good thing. I told her what else Beep told me, and while I was telling her, at 12:14 p.m., a call came in from New York. I told Patty, hang on a minute, I'm getting a call from New York. I answered the call from Beep at the newspaper. He asked to talk to me and told me the email address for the ad and the telephone number. I was so appreciative, and I thanked him for calling me back. 11/15, April 15, 2021. Waking up this morning, my heart feels heavy. 9:38 a.m. I checked the mail. I received beep, beep's file back. I had just talked to God to give me a sign that people are receiving the files. And even though I received one back, I take it as a sign that they are receiving them. 10:26 a.m. Patty called. We talked for over an hour, and she decided to get a poster board to display the pictures on. I explained some of the pictures to her, and she said, I see it. I believed you before, but I see what you're saying now, Em. And I was happy to hear that. When we hung up, Madison and I were ready to go to the stores to visit Wyatt and Megan. 1:12 p.m., Madison pulled into the cemetery. They were having a funeral. Madison drove towards Megan and then went back to see Wyatt for a little bit and drove around to see Megan again and took a few pictures. As she was pulling away, I told Madison I received a file back from beep, beep, and I had tears in my eyes. I said, as long as we don't get too many more back and someone finds it in their heart to help, that's what we're looking for. Madison said, you gotta be patient. Give it a little time and hopefully someone will. I said, oh, I know, and I am being patient. I am trying to stay positive too. Madison pulled out of the cemetery as I told my angels we loved them. We went to the stores to look for a yellow t-shirt for Madison's after party after the prom. My baby is going to the prom this year. We also went to another store to get copy paper and gold envelopes, because we all know I will continue to send the files. Patty had also said she will send some more letters too, and she named some names. She also is going to check back with the newspaper. April 16, 2021. I prayed this morning for someone to help. 1:21 p.m. Patty called. She said, I spent most of the afternoon thinking if I buy a poster board, I couldn't take it back to Florida with me. I said, no, you couldn't, but lay the pictures on the table or floor and go back and read what the papers say. Patty said, I talked with the lady at the newspaper. The lady asked me if I wanted it digital or classified, and I didn't know what to answer it. She said, so most likely digital. I said, yes, and you write letters to whomever you feel you could. Patty said, I read up on beep, beep, but I will send one to beep, beep. I said, all right, anyone you can think of. She didn't answer on that one, but she did ask me to look up the information on beep, beep. She couldn't find an address for her, so I did look up while I was talking to her on the phone, and all I found was a phone number. I gave it to Patty. Patty said, all right, I will call the number. We talked a little longer and hung up. 5:25 p.m. Patty messaged. She wrote, the number you gave me, she knew nothing. I have an address in California for beep. I guess I will write a letter. I wrote, oh wow, that's good you have an address though, but I will look again to see if that was the number. And thank you, my friend. I wrote Patty the number. Patty wrote, okay, cool. I will try right now. Patty wrote, I did not know what number to push, so I picked 11, and I have to leave a message. I wrote, did you leave one? Patty said yes. I wrote, good, and thank you so much. Keep calling, keep sending letters, and I appreciate it all. 6:58 p.m. Patty called. We talked for a couple hours. She was telling me what she's been doing. She told me about the 2 pictures she keeps focusing on. She did say, how can anyone not see that the headstones have been moved? I told her, it's because no one cares to know. They just needed to prove they cut down a tree so they wouldn't have to move the headstones back. I said, but none of those babies, none of those people deserve this. Megan didn't deserve this, but Megan has been tainted. Patty said, no, she hasn't. We're going to get this, Em. I told her, thank you. I just need that one person to look at it, to talk to me. Let's go to the cemetery and look. None of the pictures match up from the very beginning of 1999 to 2010. 2010, they cut down a tree after a storm cracked it in half. So from 2010 until 2015, there has only been one tree, Megan's tree, And I know I've sat under that same tree we buried her under in 1999 until 2015 when it flooded. Patty said, I can see that the headstones have been moved, and all they did was tell a big lie. I said, yes. So send it to anyone you can think of, anyone you think will help, anything you think will work. She said, for some reason, I keep going back and thinking of beep, beep. Maybe she would be the one to help. I said, anything that you think will work. She said, we can work on this tomorrow, but I am going to write letters. I said, I appreciate all of it. Just keep track of who you send emails to and write letters to. And thank you so much. April 17th, 2021, 9:12 a.m. Patty called. Madison and I were getting ready to go get her nails, makeup, and hair done for her prom this evening. We talked for about 18 minutes. She was looking at the law papers I sent her. She needed to finish reading what the paper said, and I told her, all right, we can do that this evening after I help Madison get ready. Patty said, yes, I will continue to look at these papers and will write letters. But I did not sleep well last night because I let my mind wander, sometimes a little too much. I really need to go back and lay down until we can talk later. I have to pick the kids up at 10. I said, yes, go rest. I will call you when I get in this evening. She said, all right, Em, we will work on it tonight and get those law papers out so I can see what they say. I said, I will. Have a good day and I'll talk to you later. I started my day by saying thank you to God and my angels. I pray whatever Patty is working on to help us works. I helped Madison today with her prom. 5:12 p.m. Patty message. She wrote, call me around 8:30 p.m. or so. When I arrived home a little while later, 7:27 p.m. my time, 8:27 p.m. her time, I called Patty. We talked for about 40 minutes. She said, I have been trying to find some paper to write on. I said, write on the back of one of the papers I sent you. I sent her 3 papers of the laws for the digging at the cemetery. Patty said, no, it's to write letters on. I said, oh. Then I thought for a brief moment, so she hasn't written a letter yet. She asked, so what about the law paper? I said, those laws are not just for anything but when they dug the headstone up. Patty said, oh, really? I said, yes, there has not been any other law brought up except Title beep. That was it. Patty said, I just want to know what law he was trying for. What did you hire him for? I said to get the headstones moved back. Patty said, I said, yeah, it was some crap. She said, that lawyer did you wrong. I said, oh, I know he did. Believe me, I know he did. Patty said, as soon as I get some paper, I will write them letters. I wrote, yes, send to anyone you can think of. That's all we can do is just keep sending and sending. Patty said, I will. I am going to plug in and I will talk to you later. I said, all right, and have a good night. We hung up. April 18th, 2021, 11:07 a.m. Patty called. She said, I am going to write the letters. We talked for about 11 minutes. She did pick up her kids yesterday evening and they are all home safe. And I'm glad about that. A little while later, Patty and I hung up. Madison and I had to go run some errands, and after we were done, I dropped Madison off at home and I went to get a fruit smoothie from the local smoothie store. I drove to the cemetery. I visited with Wyatt. I still love sitting there with them. I just can't sit and visit comfortably though. I have to always be looking around to see who's around me. Sad, but true. I took some pictures, and yes, it had water laying on the ground in different areas. I sat and visited with Megan for a while, just talking to her, crying to her, asking her and Wyatt to go to God and ask for me to send someone to help. I sat there and prayed that God would. As I pulled out of the cemetery, I told my angels we loved them, and I drove home. When I got back, Madison was cleaning out the canned food cabinet. She had 2 bags of canned foods we could get rid of. She also cleaned out the freezers. She had brown paper grocery bags and 4 kitchen garbage bags full of food, and we donated to the homeless. We pulled into a store that is located close to where the homeless hang out under a highway bridge. When we pulled up by the bridge, I saw one person and he looked to be asleep. Then we saw a person walking, looking to be walking to the store on the other side of the road. I pulled into the store and we didn't see anyone at first. Then there was a man sitting on the curb in front of the store. Madison asked me to get out to go talk to him. I said, I will. I did. I said to the man, hello. He said, hi. I said, would you like some food? He smiled real big and said, yeah. I said, all right, let us get it out of the car. He said, I had a shopping cart, telling me that as he was looking for his grocery cart. I said, well, you may need one, but you can share some of this with your buddies, right? He said, yeah. Madison and I unloaded the back seat and set it on the curbside next to the van. We got back in the car and drove away. As we were pulling out, we noticed the person that was walking on the other side of the road was a woman. She walked up and sat down near the food as the man was walking across the street to get his shopping cart, we were guessing. When we got out on the street, we noticed some homeless people walking toward the bags of food. I told Madison, we should have taken a picture. So we waited for traffic to clear and pulled back in the parking lot and snapped the picture. But it was the woman sitting there, not the man. But it's okay. I pray they will all get along and be able to eat for a few days anyway. Madison said, do you think they will fight over the food? I said, they may not yet, because there's plenty for all of them. But when they get down to the last peanut butter sandwich or burrito, they may then. It wasn't funny, but we laughed. We went back home, and I felt good about doing that for them. I rested the rest of the day, a bit emotional, but I'm all right. God be with me. April 19th, 2021. I'm not sure what I should be doing, but I will continue to send letters. 11:47 a.m. Patty called. She told me she put the letters in the mailbox. I asked her, did you take a picture of them? She said, I will go back out there and take one. I said, in the mailbox. That would be a cool looking picture. She said, all right, let me go out and take that picture. We hung up. She hasn't messaged or called back to say she did or she didn't. 1:08 p.m. Patty sent the picture of the letters in the mailbox. I wrote, oh, cool. That picture will be different to show we mailed letters. Thank you, Patty. Patty wrote, you are welcome. Thank you so much, Patty, really. I just want you to know how much I appreciate it. So very much. 4:04 p.m. Patty told me the other day that the ad for the beep, beep can only have 14 words. So I tried to write a short paragraph. I don't know if they count the a, the, to, do, and kind of words, but this is what I wrote. Since 1999, I have sat under a tree. Flood happened in 2015 and it moved the headstones. I have been trying everything to get some resolution to have Megan exhumed to the caskets do not match. Please help. I have 24 words. How can I shorten that up? When I was done writing it, I messaged beep from beep beep newspaper. 4:05 p.m. I wrote, hello, beep. One quick question. For an ad, how many words are we allowed? Thank you so much, Emily McMahon. Now I have to keep writing the paragraph of 14 words or wait until beep messages me back. God, something has to work. Protect us from evil. Thank you for this day and every day. Amen. April 20th, 2021. I asked Madison, if you have one file left and you could send it to the state representative or send it to someone else that's on the list. Madison said, I would send it to someone else. I said, all right, that's what I thought too. April 21st, 2021. When I woke up this morning, my heart and my gut felt heavy. At times it's a bit too much to carry. I pray to God. I see number sequels 111, and I know I have to watch the way I think, and I know I have to think positive. As my day moved on, my mind was busy thinking of people I could send a file to. 11:51 a.m. Patty called. We talked for about 30 minutes. I asked her, if you think of any names I could send a file to, let me know. I'm thinking of names and my mind goes blank. So if you think of any, please send them to me. Patty said, look on beep, beep. I said, good idea. She said, yes, that would be a good to get names from. I said, yes, it would be. We talked for a few minutes and hung up. 1:11 p.m. Patty messaged. She wrote, are you willing to go on the beep, beep show? I can see if I still have my connections. 1:58 p.m. I wrote, yes, whatever sources you have, and thank you. I had thought earlier that I would have to just keep sending the file. 2:21 p.m. I started copying the papers to the file. I copied them 10 times each. When I got to page 6 of the detailed letter, I found I made a mistake. I put Stan beep as retired city attorney, and it's retired city manager. I didn't rewrite the page, but I did mark out the attorney word and wrote in with black ink, manager. I do make mistakes, but it was a minor one. I finished at 3:58 p.m. April 22nd, 2021, 9:01 a.m. Patty sent a message. She wrote, good morning, Em. Crazy. I was cleaning up before the birthday party, and on one of KJ's kitchen tables was an beep, beep newspaper. I wrote, oh wow, I guess only some got that paper, but that paper may be a sign for us to use. There may be hope still for that newspaper. As I started my day, I was hopeful that the newspaper would still be in play to use. Gosh, I get so emotional hoping someone would help for all of it to be over and fixed, and some new laws so this doesn't happen to anyone else. 10:15 a.m. Patty called. She wanted to call and talk about the paper, and she talked about calling the phone number. We talked about 30 minutes, and it was a good conversation. April 23rd, 2021. Today I had errands to run. When I was done, I thought of going to the cemetery, and I looked at the clock, and it was close to time for the rain to start. So I thought I would go tomorrow. It had rained hard, so thinking about Megan and the others, it is flooded again. Makes me so mad, so disappointed. It makes my heart hurt. I will go out to the cemetery tomorrow, and I already know it will be flooded. Sad but true. Today is 3 weeks since I sent the files to the 8 people. I'm staying hopeful. I have to. 8:38 p.m. I was checking my emails and I noticed at 12:53 p.m. someone else wanted to join the cemetery cover-up post. I approved it. There have been now 4 new members that have joined. Thank you, God. April 24th, 2021. Olivia and I played outside in the backyard, and after a while I wanted to drive through the cemetery to check to see how much water was laying on the ground. When I pulled in, there were 2 funerals. I looked to the west side, and there was what looked to be a preacher man walking out of the cemetery. He had his Bible in one hand and his arm was swinging. The body language said he was mad about something. As I tried to get close enough as I could to see Wyatt from a distance, I took a few pictures of the water laying on the ground in other areas. I told him I loved him, and I drove around to see Megan. Her area looks like a pond. As I was pulling up to her area, a woman approached the car. Her and I talked about the flooding problem out there, and I said to her, "Yeah, so much for fixing the drains. A big waste of money, don't you think?" The woman replied, "Yes, it sure was." She asked, "Are you part of one of the services?" I said, "No. I came to visit my grandson and granddaughter. I couldn't get back far enough to see my grandson, so I came to see my granddaughter." The woman asked me, "Is your granddaughter here nearby?" I said, "Yes, she's right here in this area," not showing her exactly where, but I pointed to the flooded area. She said, "You shouldn't have a granddaughter out here." I said, "No, I shouldn't. It's tough enough, but then I have to come here and it looks like this." The woman was consoling, and as I agreed with her, she said, "Someone's pulling up behind you." And of course I told the woman to have a good day and I pulled away, still trying to take a picture of the flooded area. When I was leaving the cemetery, I told Megan and Wyatt that I would be back tomorrow. I drove home, and when I arrived, I shedded a few tears, thinking about how disrespected they are out there. Dead or alive, they do not deserve the disrespect. April 25th, 2021. Waking up this morning, it was like an instant emotional ride. I started crying, sobbing, crying. I asked God to help me. In the room at that time, that second, it was so peaceful. I got out of bed and I felt good. 11:06 a.m. my brother called and I told him about my short-lived experience. He said, "Sis, you will be all right. God has you and everything will be all right." I said, "I feel really good right now, and at times though it is tough on me. I need it to be over. I need the help. I need release." My brother said, "I know." Then we were quiet. We talked a little longer about other things and then hung up. 4:33 p.m. Madison, Zoe, and I left to go to the cemetery. On the way, I told Madison and Zoe about it being flooded. I said I really just need to go back because yesterday I couldn't really visit because they were having funerals. So I knew I was coming back today. When we got there, I noticed the water level was down in some areas. Megan's area was still underwater, and it sickens me. I took pictures of the area and told my angels we loved them, and I drove out of the cemetery. Why wouldn't they want it fixed? April 26, 2021, 8:58 a.m. Patty called. She wanted to talk about the case. We talked about the letter for the ad. We talked about what she would do after I wrote the letter. I told her it's quiet here today, so I could work on that this evening. She said, all right, after you're done writing it, I will put my twists and turns in it, but have it come from your heart. I said, oh, yes, it will. I have told this story and I will continue to tell this same story until it is fixed, or until it drops into someone's lap to help us, whichever comes first. Patty said, we have a case. That lawyer had nothing, and he took this case with no laws in place. I said, oh, I know. He jacked me. He took me for a ride. She said, yeah, but he'll go back on them. I said, oh, I know. She said, write the letter and let me know when you're done. I said, I will, and thank you. We talked for about an hour and then hung up. I got things cleaned up after breakfast and Madison left to go to work. I started looking for the rough draft of the letter I wrote when I thought it was just 14 words, but then she told me it's 40 words. When she told me that, I said, oh, well, that makes more sense. I told her I wrote a short but to the point letter, but it consisted of 22 words, so I knew then I could write it a little longer. I couldn't find it. I will look as I sit and think where I may have put it. And about an hour later, after doing other things, I started looking again, and I found it. Madison came in from work, and I read it to her what I had written when I thought it was just 14 words. It said, since 1999, I have sat under a tree. A flood happened in 2015 and it moved the headstones. I've been trying to get some resolution to have Megan exhumed to the caskets that don't match. Please help. Madison looked at me and I chuckled. I said, Megan would be laughing. Madison laughed. I said, I can fill in the in-betweens when time comes. But for now, it's a short version from beginning to end. I said, but now that I know it is 40 words, I can fill more in. Madison agreed. 2:39 p.m. I have not started the letter yet with everything else going on around me today, but I will. 3:37 p.m. After everything was settled down this afternoon, I tried to type the letter. I wrote once, then twice, and about the third time I got it. 5:46 p.m. I finished writing the letter. I cleaned up. I reread it. I reread it again, and then I sent it to Patty. 5:58 p.m. I sent Patty a message. I wrote, okay, it's a letter type. My heart aches thinking about all of this and makes my chest heavy, but this is a short version from beginning to end without little details in between. And then to find after all that, there's no laws to pursue anything. Those 2.5 years is wasted. I sent her 6 pages of the letter. I wrote, this is a rough draft. 8:38 p.m. Patty wrote, I just saw your post. I will read it at the airport if I can. I wrote, okay, good. Patty wrote, talk to you later, Em. April 28, 2021. 4:11 p.m. I sat down to write after Madison left to go to work. A thought came to mind to look up beep, beeps, contact information. I did look her up and I found her email address this time. I even have an address now too. There were 4 phone numbers, but they only had the first 6 digits, not the last 4. So that really wasn't any help. The email address and the address helped a lot though. Thank you for that. 4:42 p.m. I am going to stuff the envelope I have to send the file out and waiting for it to quit raining. 4:43 p.m. Lisa called. I told her I found beep, beep's address and email address. So I am addressing the envelope so I can send her a file, and I will send it through her email too. Lisa thought it was a good idea. We didn't talk long. She said she could call me later. 5:21 p.m. Lisa called back. It had stopped raining for a little bit, so I drove to the cemetery to see the water laying on the ground, because by now we all know there will be some. Lisa went with me on the phone. When I pulled in, I started taking pictures, and I took some of the area on the east side in the center section, and then on the west side. Megan's area was the worst, as usual. I took some pictures, and there were even headstones under the water. It's so disgusting, so sad. While sitting there talking with Megan in my mind and talking to Lisa too about the area being flooded again, I sent Lisa 4 pictures. She couldn't believe it. She said, "Post that on your page." I said, "Oh, I will." It's so sickening. Lisa said, "It really is. My gosh." It was quiet for a little bit, and while I took some more pictures of Megan's area, I told her and Wyatt that we loved them, and I drove out of the cemetery. Lisa and I talked on my drive home. She thought it was a really good idea to be on the phone or go with someone out there. I said I usually have someone with me, but when I don't, I try to be on the phone with someone. It's usually Nicole or my brother or Patty a time or two also. Lisa said, "Yeah, that's a good idea, Ellen." When I arrived home, I let Lisa go. 6:31 p.m. I posted the pictures on the Facebook cemetery cover-up post. 6:51 p.m. I sent Patty 5 pictures. I messaged her and I wrote, "Such a sad moment. Where the flowers are stuck in the ground is where Megan's grave is. She's hanging on to those flowers, barely. Just wanted to share with you. I posted them, but I really can't say much." A few minutes later, I sent her another message. I wrote, "And I found beep, beep's address and email address. Sending a file and an email file. I gotta keep moving." 11:16 p.m. I was already in bed, but Patty had left a message. She wrote, "That cemetery picture shows a lot, Em. I hope to talk to you tomorrow. Maybe I can work on the ad." April 29th, 2021. Happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Bill. Bill is an older brother. Rest in peace, both of you. I love you and miss you every day. When and after I was fully awake, I prayed that today was the day that someone came to me, or at least called. I asked God to let today be the day, being that it is my mother's birthday. I'm sending Beep's packet in just a bit, and God, I need something to work. And Jess, that cemetery, so disappointing, so much disrespect on their part. April 30th, 2021. 4 weeks today, the file should have been received. Gosh, and we all know what my prayer is. Someone please help. I am having an emotional day today. I used the excuse that it was because of my mother's birthday yesterday, but it really is the same thing it's been for the past close to 6 years. It seems as though we get nowhere. 2:51 p.m. Patty called. We talked for about 20 minutes, and before we hung up, we talked about how, as soon as she felt better, she would help me with the ad. I'm so grateful she brought it up. May 1st, 2021. When I woke up this morning, I was feeling antsy. I was anxious to call Patty, but I knew I could get things done for the day and then call her and work on the ad. 10:15 a.m. I called Patty. She couldn't talk at the moment, so she said she'd call me back in a bit. Of course I said, yeah, that would be good. We hung up. 1:05 p.m. Patty called. She asked, "Are you ready?" I said I could be, and at the same time I grabbed some paper and pen and I wrote as she talked. I sat down to listen and write. We talked a little bit about the approach. Patty said, I think we need to go at it another way. You've been sending the whole story, and maybe if we go at it like asking a question. I said, all right. She said something like, has this happened to you? Or what would you do if? She said, you pick one sounds better with having laid a loved one, dear one, to rest, to have floodwaters move or rearrange the headstones, never knowing where your loved ones are. This is what I have been dealing with for the past 6 years with no resolution. The cemetery needs to be accountable as we purchased our plot. Not good business. I said, oh wow, that is good. She said, okay, pick which way you want to write it. I said, all right. And we chose, has this happened to you? Having laid one to rest, to have flood water move the headstones. Never knowing where your loved one is, this is what I've been dealing with for the past 6 years with no resolution. The cemetery needs to be accountable as we purchased our plot. Not good business. I said, oh my gosh, after I read it back. That is good. Patty said, read it to Madison and see what she says and call me back. I said, all right, I will. I went into Madison's room and asked if I could read it to her. She said yes, and I read it. Madison said, that is good. Is that for the newspaper? I said, yes, it's for the newspaper, and thank you. I called Patty back and I told her Madison thought it was good too. Patty said, all right then, look at the information of how much and what day is best. I said, I will. We talked a little more and hung up. I rewrote the ad and stapled all the rough drafts together. I finished cleaning my garage and got done late. Thank you, God, for giving Patty the words to help with the ad. Watch over us and help someone to help. Amen. May 2nd, 2021. I started my day on a positive note. Patty and I have the ad done of 40 words. I finished up at the last minute cleaning and I needed to rest. I asked Madison if she wanted to go to the cemetery and she did. I drove to the cemetery and we visited with Wyatt for a little bit, drove around to see Megan. As I pulled down Megan Street, I glanced at the clock on the radio and it was 1:11. I told Madison, look at what time it is. Madison looked up to see as I pulled up by Megan. It still has water on the ground. Her flowers are still stuck in the ground. The water doesn't move them. It looks like she's holding on to them, keeping them there. Or that's how it looks. I took pictures. I saw another difference. I need to compare some pictures from the early years to the present. I just wish someone's conscience will bother them so badly that they have to tell something. I wish that. What a wish, really. We sat and talked to the angels. A little bit later, I told them we loved them and I pulled out of the cemetery. 2:32 p.m., I messaged Patty. I wrote, you two are doing all right, right? Thank you so much for the ad. I'm getting online now to see if I can get it in the paper. Thank you again. Patty wrote, I will help you with the ad tomorrow. See what you can find out then. I can call and ask what it takes for the ad to go in as a sample edition. Thanks, Em. I wrote, all right, we will talk tomorrow and I will see what I find out. Thanks to you. 3:33 p.m. I wrote all of what I needed to be written for yesterday and today in this timeline. 7:58 p.m. I started looking for the information to get the ad in the paper. I found some information that seemed helpful. At 8:15 p.m. Lisa called. I answered it as I was finished looking for the information. And while talking to her, I sent Patty the information I found. 8:19 p.m. I sent Patty 5 pages of information and I sent her a message that said, Please ignore tonight. I looked up some information for the newspaper. The publisher's name is beep, beep. And there was a phone number for the newspaper and a phone number for customer service. It had the hours Monday through Saturday, and then a letters to the editor and an email address. Thank you so much. Not now, though. Lisa asked me what I was doing. I told her I just finished looking up the information to put the ad in the paper that I'm going to need. I hope the information I sent to Patty is what she needed. I pray something will work in our favor, Megan's favor, my favor, the family's favor, all of the family, and the angels' favor. God, show us the way. Thank you and protect us from evil. May 3rd, 2021, 9:28 a.m. Patty called. She would help me with the ad in a little while. She said, I looked at that information you sent me, and yes, that is what I needed. Thanks. I said, all right, thank you, Patty, and we hung up. 10:21 a.m. Patty called again, but wasn't ready to work on the ad yet. And that was all right, because I wasn't ready yet either. 12:58 p.m. Madison sent beep, beeps email today. I say email because there were two different email addresses. 12:58 p.m. Oops, the mail file was too large to send to. Beep, beep. 1:00 p.m. the file that was sent, the address was not found. I will have to find a way to shorten the file, then hopefully I will be able to send it. Madison and I took a little ride, and at 3:16 p.m. the phone rang. I didn't answer it while I'm driving, so when it rang I asked Madison to send her a message. 3:17 p.m. Madison wrote to Patty. Had to run to the store. I will call you when I get back. When I arrived home, 3:38 p.m. I called Patty back. We talked a few minutes, but it sounded like a bad connection, and with the storms coming our way, it may have been. We only got to talk like 10 minutes, but she did say, I'm going to call, but I will wait until early morning hours. I'm calling New York, right? I said, yes. She said, all right, it's 5:30 p.m. there. I said, are they in the same time zone as Michigan? Patty said, no, I think they are an hour ahead of us. I said, oh, okay, I don't know. She said, I will have to look it up and see what time it is there, and I will, and then I will call you in the morning. Depending on if they are ahead of us or if they are behind us as to what time I call. I said, all right, thank you. And when the connection was getting worse, we hung up. 4:00 p.m. I messaged Madison. I wrote, the one file didn't go through because no address was found, and the other email, the file was too large. Can we cut out the pictures and see if that will work? Madison wrote, I'll edit it tonight. I said, all right, and thank you. 4:28 p.m. Patty messaged. She wrote, I'm wondering if I should contact the office in beep, because that's closer to beep. I wrote, yes, contact any one of them. Beep's time zone is the same as mine, an hour behind you. 5:16 p.m. Patty messaged. She wrote, I will call tomorrow. I wrote, yes, thank you. May 4th, 2021. My day was so emotional, and as the day went on, it didn't get any better. It seemed as when I opened my eyes this morning, I was crying. I was emotionally drained. I am emotionally drained. 1:18 p.m. Patty called. She told me about her doctor appointment and her day so far. She asked me if I was doing all right, and I said yes, everything is good here. She talked a little longer and asked again, are you sure you're all right? You sound like you are. I said, yes, I am, but I wasn't. She told me, I tried calling the beep number for the paper. I tried calling LA for the newspaper, but you can't do anything over the phone. We have to email them. I said, that's what I was thinking the other day, because I even asked Madison, the time we put the ad in the paper last year, we did it online, right? She said, yeah, and we had to. Patty said, yeah, I think we have to. So if you want to email them and ask, what do we have to do to get an ad in the newspaper? And when you find that out, I will fine tune it to hopefully get it in the sample paper. I said, oh, cool. Yes, okay, yes, let's do that. She said, all right. And then that way, as long as it's an email, you won't cry talking to them. I said, right. Yeah, I can do that. We talked a little longer and hung up. 1:34 p.m. I sent Patty a message. It was some information on how to get in touch with someone at the paper. 1:30 p.m. I sent two different emails to the paper. One was sent to feedback and the other to the newsroom. I wasn't sure which one to send it to, but then I saw the email for the editor. I wrote, okay, I sent the same message to two email addresses. I didn't hear anything back yet. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or questions, you can email me at Emily McMahon, EMILY, McMahon, MCMAHAN, lowercase letters, 208 at gmail.com. Thank you for listening and stay kind with your words.